Hello everyone, my name is Bima Kurniawan and today I would like to show you how to make a project in Kotlin using Android Studio. At this point I'm hoping that you've already installed Android Studio on your computer, so we're not gonna be talking about that right now. After you've opened your Android Studio, if you've already have made a project, you can select this icon right here, then choose File, New Project, and then either you choose empty views activity or empty activity. If you are already familiar with Compose and want to learn that, then you can go straight ahead with empty activity. Otherwise, we have to go with empty views activity. Here is the name. We will call it hello world. You can choose the package name as free as you'd like. Let's say this is tutorial, so it will be com tutorial hello world. We'll be putting this in anywhere you'd like. In this case, to the tutorial. Oh, sorry. So the specified path. If you'd like to be customizing the save location of your file, you have to remember to always write the project's name. In this case, it's hello world. But if there's nothing yet, we can make a new folder here. Tutorial. Press OK, and then you make the say folder there, and it will be created automatically. After that, oh yeah, about the minimum SDK, you can just choose the default, which is API 24, the Android 7.7.0, because right now it's been used by 95.4% of the entire population. It used to be 21, but Google has decided to make the minimum SDK to be 24. Also about the build configuration language, it's been it's more recommended to be learning about Kotlin DSL. You can use Groovy DSL if you'd like, but starting from now, there will be more Kotlin DSL Gradle build files that's more readily available because Groovy is nice, but before Groovy we had Maven, and since going forward with this approach of Google's deprecating stubs rather quickly, we'll just have to adhere to this standard. So click finish. Wait for the Gradle to build your project. If this is the first time that you're opening Android Studio, it might take you more than 1 minute, unlike me here, because depending on your internet connection and your computer resources, it will probably take around 5 or 10 minutes. Hopefully, if you're not using low-end computers, if you're using high-end and high-speed connections, it will take much shorter than that. First and foremost, before we start anything here, it should be noted that if you're using Android Studio Giraffe, the target SDK default will be 33. First, we will have to change it into 34. The compile SDK and target SDK, and then click Sync Now. If you get a warning from Android Studio here, like it gets red and saying that you should use one of your upgrade assistant, you can just ignore that for now because it's not really important for beginners. Okay, Android, unlike since we're programming Kotlin Android, I will assume that you have some knowledge about Kotlin itself. But if we are going to be if we are going to be making an application from the start, here you can see a text view that's already put there, a hello world. But we would like this hello world to be a variable that we can change, which in this case it's still hard-coded string. You can of course use a constant constant value, put this into the string XML, but for this kind of we actually don't need to change the XML value here, because if you are going to make it dynamic, you can change it like this. Okay, on create. Before that, we will have to put an identifier for the text view. Let's say add plus id slash hello. Oh wait, maybe not that. Maybe TV. This is a good practice to keep in mind, because it it's going to help you in the long run to remind you what kind of view that you're dealing with. If it's TV, it's going to be text view. If it's ed, it will be edit text. And basically, if you're going to be dealing with a view and you want to make an identifier for it, it's best that you start with the abbreviation for the view, so that in case you want to go back to your project like 1 week later, you don't have to be checking every single one of it to make sure that it's the right one. You can just see it in the TV. Oh, it's a text view. Okay, back to our explanation. TV underscore I don't know what text view any text. Let's just say that. Wait, yeah, you can make it like this. If you're using Kotlin, and in this day and age, it's not really recommended to use this legacy R layout. It's not bad per se, but because in this case the, you will have to be initializing every single view that you have here, which is uh, sometimes it's quite problematic when you're trying to put value into your view, but you haven't actually initialized it, and it's not going to be the build will be correct, and it won't show any problems, but during runtime it's going to be throwing null pointer exception and your application will crash. To avoid that, you can be using build features, and then we set view binding to true. You can sync the project, the Gradle build Gradle, and then once that's already done, you can declare a private let init var main no wait activity main binding. So if you have like login activity, you will just saying activity login binding, and then what we're gonna do here, oh yeah, binding. So we declare binding with type of activity main binding, and then we will be assigning the value of the binding into activity main binding inflate with layout inflator. And then we're going to be changing the set content view to binding.root. What this basically does is that it's gonna bind the views from your XML file into the activity so that you don't necessarily have to initialize it every time you want to every time you want to modify the data in the view. So you can just do it like this: binding tv and a text. Oh yeah, about when you're trying to call the view, in this case the ID is tv underscore any underscore text, but when you're calling it in main activity you don't have to use the underscore. You're going to make it look like a camel case, so that's nice. Going to be setting a text to, let's say, hello, and click. And then we're gonna be choosing pixel 3a here, and we're running our app. It's gonna take quite a while because it's compiling and building the project first. After that you can run, or if you want you can go here, click build, and then make project, and it's gonna be building the project, and you can just run it in like 5 seconds, so you don't have to build it again. You can just run. Okay, I'm gonna be waiting here. There we go. That's it for today's tutorial. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.